Club level racing is all about close competition on a budget, and the perfect car for this is the SCCA Spec Racer Ford. Lightweight and agile, this little racing machine isn't mighty on its own, but in large numbers, it becomes a part of something great. For many, the Spec Racer Ford is the heart of club-level sports car racing. So what better place to race it than a track in the heart of the Midwest? This season, the SRF Weekend Warriors hosts the 24th vRunoffs at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. It'll have heat racing and nearly 60 cars for the celebratory spectacle of speed on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Welcome to SYM TV. My name, of course, is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney Nakuna this afternoon. Virtual runoff racing, Weekend Warriors, Spec Racer Ford. Finney, the first time we've ever seen these cars race on SYM TV. Heat racing this afternoon. It's going to be a fun one today.
Yeah, really looking forward to this race with a massive field of cars ready to get rolling. And like you said, we're going to be experiencing heat racing to set the grid. So that's going to be really exciting before the main feature. We're going to have pretty much 4 races over the course tonight, including the feature race at the end.
So qualifying is underway right now, and these drivers will have a couple laps to lay down some times. And we're at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Finney, and this racetrack, as we know, is a fun one. And we take a look at the track map this afternoon. 2.2 miles around here, 13 turns around Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And this is the definition of a technical racetrack, especially down by famous China Beach, turns 4, 5, and 6, where that big gravel trap is waiting there to catch you. That backside section is so tricky to get right, especially in a car that has so much off-throttle oversteer.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the track, you know, looking just from from the start-finish line all the way down to just before turn 4, you know, it looks like a very simple layout, a lot of 90-degree turns and a hairpin in there. And then you look at the rest of the course, and it's a whole bunch of switchbacks. Left, right, left again. So these guys constantly changing directions. And yeah, it's a very technical course, especially with this car. So these guys are going to have to manage to keep in behind one another, make some passes while also navigating the middle sector.
There are a lot of drivers here this afternoon. A couple of them we're actually familiar with. Larry McLeod in number 33. He always drives a chrome silver car in pretty much everything he runs. He runs the Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League on Wednesday nights. And he was really quick in practice. I'd expect him to be very quick in the race this afternoon. Again, all drivers will race in the feature 30-minute race at the end of the day, but we will have 2 heats, each 6 laps apiece for half the drivers, and there'll be a consolation race for everybody else to set their grid position for the 30-minute feature. So McLeod comes across the line for his first lap. What's it going to be? A 36.758. It's going to be a dirty lap, won't count. Yes, it will. 7th place for Larry McLeod. Daniel Sadro in the 51 has gone through in the Faux Speed 51. And going to ride on board with him as we head down towards turn 4.
Riding on the nose of the 51 car, currently fastest time. We'll see if he can try to improve that. A decent gap between himself and Williamson to the rest of the field, separating those top 2 drivers.
Over the crest of the hill here in turn 5, get right up on top of that curb, and then the track falls away from you and the balance kind of pulls away. You have a tendency to understeer to that corner. Now we head under the Honda Bridge to the backside of the course, about 75, 80 miles an hour up over another crest. And you know, take a shot every time you hear the word crest today, Finney, because there's a lot of hills around Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and for that reason, it's a spectacular track for this kind of car. And with how close these things like to race, I think we're in for a treat this afternoon.
We really are, and I think a lot of these guys are definitely going to prefer the first half of this course to make it look fast, especially using the draft to their advantage along the long back straightaway.
Kurt Nunez in the 38 making his way around, and running the 38 right now, currently 10th on the board, a 36.806 is his best time so far, an average of 82.26 miles an hour. Of course, we want to thank SYM Stickers for coming on board and sponsoring the Weekend Warriors vRunoffs this season. Make sure to use code RUNOFF25 at the simstickers.co.uk website for 25% off all products this week and this week alone. So thank you to SYM Stickers for their support. Got 2.5 minutes left in qualifying, and deeper in the field, a lot of drivers. There's 40 that have laid down a time so far. James King in the 23 is working his way around, has yet to lay down a time.
Oh yeah, get to lay down a clean time.
And out of the final corner, and I think qualifying going to be extraordinarily important, maybe not right now, but when we get to the feature event, those heat races in the Constellation going to be extremely important to get yourself a good starting position. When you start a race with almost 50 cars, if you start in 45th, you don't have a chance to win a race in 30 minutes, so you have to go. And that means right now, get yourself in position to be at the front of one of those heat races, because the top 5, only the top 5, will qualify in immediately in those heat races for that Constellation event.
Yeah, well, those guys are guaranteed their spots. Everyone else, that would mean pretty much 40 cars are going to be stuck having to be in their own race by themselves to then set their positions for the main event. And I imagine a lot of these guys don't want to do that. You're definitely going to want to set your position early on, especially inside the top 10.
Steve Ray is your provisional pole sitter at 136.080, and he's 55 thousandths of a second ahead of Daniel Sandro, who's come on second. Fraser Williamson in the 69 goes third quick at 36.234. Jason Perry, the number 97, working his way around a Spider-Man paint he's got on. Looks good. He works his way up over the curbs, and these drivers can be very aggressive with the curbing this afternoon. Mid-Ohio's curbs are relatively gentle in comparison to a lot of other courses. That means that every inch of this racetrack that is paved in one way or another, you're going to get those tires up on top of them. Make the quick slap times around here.
Let's see where Perry lines up here as he's coming through the final sector of the track.
And his best time was a 36.4. He currently sits fourth on the grid. What's it going to be this time through? A 36.3. He'll pick up some time, and unfortunately not a position. He'll stay fourth. And most drivers have completed their qualifying efforts. A couple drivers still making their way around. Hugh Haycock's completing his qualifying effort in the number 26, or excuse me, the number 11 car in 26th place. Comes across the line, and it'll jump him up to 21st.
Seems pretty much everyone here at least put down a time, 47 cars.
Looks like we've got 48. Jonathan Madden just managed to get into session before we're going to take over to the first of two heat races. Then we'll have, of course, the consolation, which will be everybody else qualifying in, but qualifying is completing now, and Rick Rodowski's got a long night ahead of him, back in 43rd place. So looking down at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course this afternoon, it's a beautiful day for racing here for the 24th running of the Weekend Warriors vRunoffs. Again, you're watching SYM TV. Make sure to drop the subscribe if you're interested in catching more of this action. We've got sports cars a couple times a week here right now. We've got the Scars Ferrari Challenge on Thursdays. We got the Washington, D.C. region SCCA on Wednesday nights, and all sorts of other stuff going on at any given time. 24 drivers lining up for the first of the two heats this afternoon. Steve Ray sits on pole. Fraser Williamson in the 69 starts second. We'll let the rest of the starting grid roll on through when we're ready to go racing here in just a moment. So, half a pace lap to get us ready. The conditions this afternoon, 71 degrees in the air, 81 on the racetrack, a gentle 8-mile-an-hour breeze out of the south, partly cloudy skies. That tells me it's going to be a really fun race. Relatively easy conditions. We've seen this track get pretty hot, so there'll be a lot of grip out there today.
Yeah, it looks like we're racing in the morning too, so it's going to be nice and cool as the sun is just beginning to start to heat up the track. So with the temps being nice and cool, these guys got a lot of grip to use, and they're definitely going to need it, especially through the technical section of this track, trying to follow one another and potentially make some passes. A little passing, I think, is going to be a bit difficult through there, but not completely impossible.
Gentle breeze kind of swaying the tree limbs here, and it's always a good gauge when you're a driver to see which direction the wind is going or which way the trees are swaying, which way the flags are blowing. These cars don't weigh a whole lot, so they get blown around quite a bit by the wind. So, time to go racing this afternoon. It's only a 6-lap event. And the starting lineup will be at the top of your screen. And Steve Ray in first, Williamson second, Haycock's third, McAreevy in fourth, Fred Desay in the 76 in fifth, Larry McLeod in sixth. A pretty short pace lap here, so the field rolling their way towards the final corner. 13 turns around here. They'll get to do each of them 6 times before we line up for the feature this afternoon. Time to go racing. For the vRunoffs, the Weekend Warriors SRF, green flag flies, and we're racing from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Car on the line is the number 11, and Hugh Haycock's in the background through turn 1 for the first time, side by side for the lead, and that is at the front Steve Ray that was going for the top spot, side by side on the front straight or between turns 1 and turn 2. This is a 69 car, a Williamson that's going to pull ahead by the time they get to the keyhole.
Yeah, looks like he's going to have to yield that spot, or it's on 15 to Steve Ray. He's going to actually drop back by the 67 back into third.
Far off in the dirt just a little bit. That it looks to be the 76 car driven by Fred Desay. And no issues so far. We're clean and green through the first half of the course.
And already starting to get single file, at least in the front. He's still in the background side by side. A lot of drivers still fighting for some spots by the time they get to turn 4.
Haycock's the number 11 was incredibly aggressive at the start of the race. And, a little bit of a bump there to Larry McLeod. Going to knock him out of the way. 3 wide behind him for a moment. On the inside, that's the Eat Local Honey car. That's being driven by, I believe, by the 342 of Jim McGill. Now everyone's threading their way through. The far side of the course, it's Williamson out front, McAreevy in second, Steve Ray third, Haycock's fourth as we head to the middle sector.
Yeah, it looks like Haycock is under attack from the 84 right in behind him, trying to get that spot.
Another car looking pretty wide. That looks to be the 5 of Adam Bradshaw on the inside of the 23 of James King. King a little bit wide, got a tire off in the dirt here.
You have to be careful.
Oh, he spins! Around he goes right in the middle of the track, and everyone's going to scatter to try to miss him, and pulls right in front and drills. I believe that was Robert Hill in the... Nope, it wasn't. It's Jeff...
258.
Ian Wilson, thank you, Finian. Wilson, unsighted, couldn't really miss that. He's going to stop that car. He's out of the race early. Not the way he wanted to start his afternoon.
Yeah, we're looking at already the top 6 starting to break away from the rest of the pack. And trying to keep it amongst themselves. And remember, the top 5 are the positions that are going to be locked in for the feature event, going 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. Jim
McGill has looped it in the keyhole. Goes around, he'll get back on course. We'll see how this one happened. And he got a little bit of help from somebody. That was I believe that was the 190 of Derwin Kostanak. And sent him around for a loop down in the keyhole area. And side by side in front of them, Larry McLeod under attack from Hugh Haycox. There was some blows exchanged before, and Steven Elson all over the back of the 33, and there he goes around in turn 5.
Yeah, it took the entire corner for him to wreck that out, because you saw him get a little bit loose and forward, was almost able to save it, but not enough.
And the third car to take a spill so far in this race, and Williamson continues to lead out front. McAreevy in second in the 67. He's got Steve Ray, Miroslav Jurasek in the 84, then Ian Haycox in 5th.
And the 76 Fred DSX, he's trying to get up into that top 5. He's so close.
Whoa,
right
big lockup. Lockup by the leader, and McAreevy is all over the back of Williamson now. And these cars, again, are manual transmission, so it's heel-toe downshifting. And if you get it a little bit wrong, you're going to be under attack. Here comes the 67, takes a look to the inside, can't quite complete that pass. Here comes Ian Wilson back out of the pits after a quick trip down a pit lane.
Yeah, McAreevy got a great run out of the final corner. However, he just wasn't able to get really find a way by, but now he's going to find a way by on the outside, going to the keel, going to have a look, and that's going to open the door. Here comes Steve Ray on the inside.
And Ray will take second place away, so as quick as McAreevy was attacking the leader, he's actually going to lose a spot now. And he's going to set up a pass with the slipstream down the back straightaway. And drives out to driver's left. The 69 comes over to cover because a big run is coming.
And we go into the braking zone. Looks like Steve Ray is going to be able to hold a spot down in turn 4.
And here comes the 84. Miroslav taking a look to the outside as they head down the hill. A lot of oversteer on these cars when you jump out of the throttle, and got to keep just a little bit of power down just to keep the car steady. We have a spin in the background. It's Babbitt in the 37, and he has gone around for a loop in turn 5. We've seen this be a trouble spot so far. It's the 37 car, rather. And he's driving in behind the 244, and whoa! Big slowdown for Jeff Cantor, and caught Babbitt by surprise, and he spun off to try to miss him.
And he's going to drive all the way back on the 20th.
Well, while we were watching that, Steve Ray is taking the lead away. Behind him, Kostanak is around.
Out of the fence. He's going to get that straightened away, but how about Steve Ray up to the front of the field? See if he can hold it here as he got 3 laps to go.
Halfway through this race, and Steve Ray finds his way into the lead. Has led his first lap this afternoon. McGill has spun in the final corner and just got it all wrong. Looped it around. It's the second time he's spun. He's struggling so far. Second place, I'm not sure McAreevy's done fighting for a second spot yet. Williamson a little bit off track at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that, especially in this car. It tends to be loose in the back end, and that's the easy way to spin it out. But it looks like McAreevy might be trying to give a bump draft to Williamson to catch back up to Ray.
And it's going to be a big head of steam. Going to drive to driver's left. Ray comes to cover and nose to tail into turn 4. Contact! The 69 locks up the tires, and McAreevy takes a look to driver's right.
Give Ray a little bit of a shunt into turn 4, but Ray's still going to hold his lead after a little bit of damage that shouldn't affect him.
Wayne Palmer in that red and white 277 fighting side by side with the 5 car of Adam Bradshaw. This is a fight for 9th place. Right ahead of them is Larry McLeod in position number 8. The Driver in the transfer position who will immediately qualify in is Ian Haycox in 5th. Everyone forward of him will be setting themselves up for their starting position later this afternoon. Here's the 35 of Haycox. Now, Fred Desay right behind, trying to get that spot away. Spin in the background, Rodasti. Big rear end damage to that car. I wonder if he had a little bit of help here.
Oh, yeah, definitely looks like he did.
And he had the 342 of McGill lined up behind and working their way to the far side of the course. And McGill just drilled him in the rear bumper. And a lot of speed differential in the corners here, which has led to some incidents as drivers are trying to avoid running into the drivers in front of them. 2 laps to go. Ray has the lead. I don't think we're done fighting for it yet, though. Williamson following in the draft, swinging to driver's right, trying to fake out the 15.
And if Williamson can time this right out of the keyhole here, he could try to build up a run down towards turn 4 to take the lead back.
I think McAreevy is in position to maybe steal something away as well. I think Jurasek on back. I don't really think they've got much of a chance unless these guys start to fight. And here they go, side by side down the back straightaway, double wide, 15.69. Williamson on the outside, Ray on the inside, and McAreevy nowhere to go. He's going to have to back out for now. Williamson locks up, slides through turn 4. Here comes Ray back on the outside.
It's not done yet. Whoa, someone went way off the track. That was the 84 of Jurasek, I think. That went flying through the sector there, almost took out some other cars. But Williamson not able to take the spot back from Ray. Wow, he really drove in there hot.
Williamson all over Steve Ray. A big lockup into turn 4 after almost taking the lead away. It's going to be about 4 miles left here. Car around in the background. It's Mark Coffin. And he's wrecked. I believe this is between turns 4 and 5. Back up to the front, though. Don't want to miss the pass for the lead if there is one. Williamson all over the 15.
Yeah, with the problem that Jurasek had, he's allowed the top 3 to break away, so it's amongst themselves here for the top spot. This is for who's going to start on pole for the feature.
Final lap, white flag flies here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the vRunoffs, the Weekend Warriors 25th, or 24th running rather. Sponsored by Sim Stickers, white flag flies, and up on the curb is Williamson trying to get that car to rotate to attack Steve Ray.
Yeah, he really abused the curbs in this car, and definitely Williamson taking advantage. This is going to be essentially his final chance here. Coming up to the keyhole, down to turn 4 is going to be his best opportunity.
Whoa, look at McAreevy deep on the brakes! Managed to get the car stopped. The 69 almost had to take evasive measures there, but on the back straightaway now. It's a 0.2 of a second gap. Ray trying to drive off into the distance. Cantor has looped it. In turn number 1, he'll get back rolling, but will drop down the order.
And back up into the front. Williamson nowhere near as close as he was last time by. He's going to catch back up to the 15.
Here he goes. Big dive on the brakes. To the inside for turn 4. Big lockup, slides the right front tire. Williamson gets crossed over. Ray back on the outside. Exactly the same scenario as last lap. This time, though, the 15 on the inside. Battle through the S's here at Mid-Ohio.
He's going to have the advantage into this corner, though. He might be able to clear the 69. No, and now it's going to go back to Williamson, the advantage, and he's going to clear him.
Great pass for the lead. Williamson out in front of the 15. I cannot believe he got that car stopped. I can't believe he didn't loop it. Doing that, here comes McAreevy on Ray.
No, Ray!
Ray crashes hard into the barrier.
Oh, man. You can try to get this back
McLeod.
Wow, McLeod has to go through the grass to avoid it. And McLeod actually in a transfer spot, but meanwhile, the 69 Williamson through the final few corners.
Checkered flag waves for Fraser Williamson in the 69. An impressive last lap pass. He gets it done at Mid-Ohio. He'll start on pole this afternoon. McAreevy gave it a shot a couple times. Will come home in second. Aycox in the 35 will be third. And the rest of the field coming across the start-finish line behind him. A good battle out of the final corner. And Steve Ray going to be limping that car back to the checkers with a very, very damaged Spec Racer Ford.
And it's really going to be unfortunate for the 15 because he was in it. He was looking to transfer on in second place, but that mistake in the last sector of the track that cost him dearly. He's going to be back in 12th.
Some great racing throughout the field here. Robert Ill, I believe, has looped. Oh, he's crashed short of the finish in the 087, and he'll drop down the order. He started this race in 23rd, and it looks like that's where he's going to finish here.
Yeah, and how about Williamson, though, man? He abused his tires the last few times he went through turn 4.
And looks like that's going to do it for the first of the 2 heat races. We have signed ourselves up for something quite fun this afternoon. Get a quick look at the results before we change over. I think it's going to change over relatively quickly, and it already has. So our results will go away, but Daniel Sandro will be on pole for this second race.
Yeah, he's all...
All right, so Race number 2. I think we had quite a fun time in the first race this afternoon. We're going to do it again. This time with the 51 Asadro on pole. Jason Perry lines up in second. They're starting lineup across the top of your screen here, starting with the last couple drivers in the field, but they'll scroll on through.
Yeah, this is all the even drivers from qualifying. They're going to try to now take the even spots, 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th for the top 5 spots, and then everyone else is going to have to join the other drivers in the consolation race. And can't wait to see that, because that's going to essentially have 30 cars in it going for trying to line themselves up, but getting ready for this race. I'm interested to see what Sadro and Perry's got. Both those guys looking really fast in qualifying.
Really excited to see how this goes. We saw, of course, the 15 of Steve Ray loop it on the final lap. That's going to hurt him big time at the end of the race, or at the end of the day, because he's going to have some work to do now.
Yeah, he's going to start. He's going to start then 11th if he wins that race. So he's still going to have a decent amount of work to do in the feature race, no matter how the rest of the event goes. We'll see. Definitely got some pace. Now here we go. Field getting ready to pace. 24 drivers strong for the second heat race.
24 drivers lining up. Sandro in command in the field that is supposed to be 51. Pace car pulls off again. Here we go. Green flag flies racing for heat number 2 for the vRunoffs Weekend Warriors. Special event, the 24th running, sponsored by Sim Stickers. And we raced out of turn number 1. 51 pulls ahead early.
Yeah, and everyone immediately getting single file up. Oh, some contact in the background.
Cars spinning at the exit of turn 1. It is Fitterer in the number 111. He's got big damage on that car, as does Richard Franco in the number 173. Back up, Kurt Nunez dropping down the order. He's looped it around in the keyhole.
Dolphins, gravel, we're going to be able to get the car back rolling. Meanwhile, for the lead, Sadra already started to bring a little bit of a lead away from the rest of the field. Jason Perry and Lindoff are now fighting for second.
And we saw turn 4 be a really hard braking zone that was testing the right front tires as drivers carry too much speed. We'll see if Perry can do the same. And cold tire starting off this one, and down into turn 4, he jumps the curb, will actually be able to hang on and just clear Lindoff. A great defensive maneuver there by the number 97.
And slam the doors shut. Providing opportunity to again make a pass in.
Paul Hickey in the 234 right in front of Jonathan Madden. Big slide, and around he goes.
Talk about cold tires there. Catch you off guard if you go just even a little bit offline.
Alejandro Liro in the 082 right in front of Zach LeVay. Ed Doherty. Great battle here for 5th. They thought better of it, took a look up the inside, wasn't able to complete any kind of move.
All right, a lot of the fields, at least the front runners, separated a lot more than we saw in the first race. Sager's got already almost a second lead to second place.
Some drivers have really got slowed down by that first turn spill, and Sablam, Franco, Fitterer, and more way down the order. And I wonder if Sandro's going to be able to run away. Got a bunch of cars off the track in the background. Start with Clark Williams in the number 16. How about Samuel Dick on Henrik Lindoff for 3rd?
Working the outside. Now he's going to leave just a little bit of a room down the inside. Lero looked like he wanted to get the spot, couldn't get it.
Jonathan Madden all over the back of Paul Jackson in the 249. Drag race down the back straight between these two. And how about up for 3rd place? Side by side, and it's a 4-car fight. Now make it 5 with the addition of LeVay in the 13.
Yeah, you can see that there's the front 2 guys going down into turn 1.
The 97. Oh, big block by the number 119 and Dick. He's going to hang on to it. And
barely.
Oh, the 8-car slid off course there for a moment. Somehow coaxed it back on before he lost it into the gravel trap.
That was close. Lost a few spots. He's going to have to make back up.
And Jason Perry threw a heck of a dive into turn 4. Wasn't able to get up alongside Sadro, but closed up the lead by about half a second in the braking zone alone. And
if I'm him, I would just kind of sit in behind the 51 for now, let them start to build a little bit more of a gap, and then really on the final lap, then start to fight for it. Because that way you can really finish no worse than second.
I'm not sure he's going to wait until that long. He's got a really fast race car right now, turning right in behind the 51, back onto the front straightaway. Lap number 3 of 6. Meanwhile, deeper in the field, there is still a great battle from 8th on back. Williams in his green number 16. Then it's Bureau, Rice, and Regalado in the 27.
There's the 8 up the inside of the 94. Some contact between both of them. The 94 going to spin, make some contact as well in turn 1.
And collected at Darty. And Alejandro Liro is the other car involved. They'll drop down the order quite quickly. Meanwhile, up the road, Williams look for 3 wide. Antonio Rice in the 007 on the outside lane. Here comes Bureau in the 208 trying to sneak up the inside through the keyhole.
And was able to get 1 spot. Now going to try to make it 2, maybe some side draft if we can. They head off down the back straightaway.
I really want to keep an eye on these 2 leaders, though, as we come down into the braking zone. If Perry is going to take another dive, and a little bit more conservative this time through. Bureau past the 16, and here comes the 007 up the inside behind him. Bob Kern in the number 6 is Drew Regalado. And Paul Godden in the 213.
Guys side by side, do some contact between them as well. The 6 going to go off the track.
Oh, he spins! That was a little rough there by the Regalado machine. Just kind of shoved him off track, but probably had the corner at that point. Just ran the 6 out of road. They'll get back rolling all the way back in 16. Love the Le Mans prototype look to that number 6. That's a great livery on that car. Up for the front. Sandro has led every lap so far, but Perry is all over the rear bumper. Going to be coming to the halfway point this time through.
Final set of corners here. Yeah, halfway through this time by, and still the top 2. 2 seconds back to Samuel Dick in the 119 Rover.
Sandro's last lap was a 36.8. Perry's was a 36.7. Bit of draft is certainly helping that, but I think they're just trying to keep Dick, Lindoff, and LeVay farther off in the distance behind him so they can just fight amongst themselves. But I wouldn't be surprised. 2.2 seconds is a big enough gap. They might fight. Meanwhile, in the background, as I say that, here comes Perry up the inside.
He's going to get past with the lead. Cedro is not going to fight him at all.
Might be willing to sit in line and utilize the draft for a little bit. Meanwhile, Madden and Jeff Jacobson, Kurt Nunez all battling for 11th spot.
Nunez, way off the track. All 4 wheels. Comes off the corner.
Sandro back out on the outside into turn 4 to the braking zone. Going to use the draft here. We'll be able to hang on. It's a little wide, but Perry might be able to hang on. He's going to leave the 51 space side by side through 5. Just enough space.
They almost made some contact there, and he's got the yield this to Perry this time by. I was surprised thought the 51 would have waited until the next lap to attempt something, but immediately tried to go back. Perry was almost successful.
Oh, we got a car around Barbuza in the 212.
He's off in turn 5.
Let's see what happened.
Turn 5 claiming a lot of cars tonight.
Yeah, he was all by himself. I wonder if he just got in there a bit hot, overcooked it. Yeah, just a little bit, and wiggled and wobbled, and just avoided the gravel trap, but spun off to the inside instead.
I just realized I said tonight. We're so used to broadcasting.
I know, we almost always. This is a rare Sunday afternoon matinee for SYM TV, so something a little bit different today. 2 laps to go. For Jason Perry, he has now led 1 lap.
Let's see if he can lead 2 more. At least the final lap, as Cedro's not coming off of him at all. Looks like Lindoff is actually gaining some ground on the top 2 leaders, so I'm curious if he can maybe try to reel them in before this is all said and done.
Into the keyhole, Perry and Sandro chasing each other down the hill. Meanwhile, behind them, fight for what is ultimately going to be about 5th place. That's LeVay in the black number 13, then Dominique Bureau, Clark Williams, and Antonio Rice. For the lead, though, here comes Sandro back to the outside. He's going to nose ahead of Perry. Perry's going to cross over. Maybe he'll try to send a dive up the inside into the braking zone. Here they come.
Yeah, you can't really throw a move that shallow into the corners, and 97 going to have to yield.
LeVay under attack from the outside. Bureau taking a look.
And it's the fight for that transfer spot, at least to secure your position in the top 10.
Again, everyone will race this afternoon, but the top 5 from each heat will qualify in that position. So, LeVay fighting for a spot inside the top 10. Regalado's gone around.
Yeah, the middle of the track is going to get that back going in the right direction.
Up front, Sandro continues to lead this race. He has led 3 laps. Perry has led a couple.
Honestly, I think Perry's in the more advantageous position here as we come through the final 2 corners. White flag in the air for these drivers.
Final time around Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in heat number 2. Sandro in command, Perry second, Lindoff in third. White flag officially in the air. Jonathan Madden has dropped off the timing and scoring. He has had an issue.
Yeah, not sure what it is, but one of the leaders now here to come. Whoa, the 8 forcing the issue is going to destroy some cones as he's trying to close in on the top two.
Sent those flying, but doesn't matter. Trying to chase down these front two as they're going to be fighting by the time we get to turn 4, so he's going to have to be there if he wants a shot. Meanwhile, in 5th, LeVay, Bureau, and Williams all fighting into the keyhole.
Still a great battle for 5th, a 4-way battle for 5th as the all 4 of them come single file through the keyhole.
16 out, dropping a wheel on corner exit. Drag race down the backstretch. Meanwhile, up front, Perry not able to respond to Sadro taking the lead back, and this might be over by this point.
Yeah, we'll see if he can come up with anything in the second half of the lap, but there was a major opportunity gone there. Meanwhile, for 5th.
Oh, it's going to be 3 wide into turn 4. Maybe not quite. The 16 couldn't get up in there, but the 208 fighting LeVay. And LeVay hangs on. Half a second is the gap between the leaders. Sadro, Perry, Lindoff, Dick, LeVay are top 5. The drivers that will transfer straight to the feature this afternoon. Sadro leaving some tire tracks. He has not stopped trying, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, give him up some time though. Here comes Perry. You know, anything can happen in these final 2 corners. We've seen a last corner pass before.
Perry is close. He's 3/10 back. It's a tricky corner to send a dive into, though, with the curved braking zone. But final corner, Daniel Sadro from pole will come out of it, and he is going to win the second heat of the day. And comes on through. Daniel Sadro, winner at Mid-Ohio.
Sadro, Perry, Lindoff, and then back in 4th a little way, Samuel Dick. And LeVay is going to hold off a massive charge from the 3 guys in behind him. He's going to take 5th.
As the rest of the field comes on through, here is a look at your race results. Well, almost. It does funny things with the heat racing.
Yeah.
We'll let that scroll. It'll fix itself here in a moment. But again, thank you to Sim Stickers for sponsoring this afternoon's events. Use code RUNOFF25 for 25% all products this week. You can find a link to their website in the video description. If you got a button box or anything of the sort, you can get yourself some stickers to put them on and label everything. I used to print them out with an inkjet printer and just tape them on. That is not as pretty as simstickers.co.uk, so make sure you check that out this afternoon. Sadro wins, Perry 2nd, Lindoff 3rd. And a couple of disappointments through drivers throughout the rest of the field as they had issues and ended up going off course. All right, time to go racing for the 3rd time, the consolation event, which I'm not sure if this is going to be the case. This might be the feature here. We should have the... How long was the consolation supposed to be? It's supposed to be 6 laps. But this looks to be everybody, so we're going straight to the feature here, Finian. So Williamson in the 69 is in command of this thing for the pole, and it's time to go racing 30 minutes this afternoon. And take a look at our grid as we get lined up on the back straightaway. Here is your starting lineup. Scrolling along the bottom of the screen, that's going to be qualifying results, isn't it? How about we do this on the left side of your screen? There's your starting lineup, 48 drivers strong this afternoon. This was serving as a test for the heat format, so maybe there wasn't something quite configured exactly the way they wanted it, but again, Weekend Warriors, this is a spectacular series and a car that deserves more love, quite honestly. iRacing, you included.
You know what I think it might have been? I think it might have been the fact that because the sim saw there's no point in having the race, because typically the consolation race is to eliminate people.
That's probably why.
So since we were under the maximum drivers allowed, I think it was like, yeah, we'll just take the results, put them back in where they are. So going straight to the get-go here, it's going to be 19 laps.
Yeah, well, this is a 30-minute race. Will be approximately 19 laps, but Williamson with his incredible turn 4 dive is going to be the pole sitter for this event. Sadro, McAreevy, Jason Perry, the rest of your top 4. Pace car pulls off. Quick pace lap here. Time to go racing. The Weekend Warriors vRunoffs, the 24th running, is green. 3 wide already as they race down to turn 1.
4 wide for a little bit there, down into turn 1, still side by side for a few spots.
So far, so good. Haven't seen any disasters yet. Car off in the background. It's a purple car. Didn't see what number. Looks like they've got it back on.
Down into the keyhole. It's going to be Williamson that'll lead over Sajo, Perry, Haycox, both Haycoxes actually.
Down the back straightaway, Williamson and Sadro, both of them won their heat events side by side. Perry back in 3rd. He was just shy of winning something this afternoon. He is not going to be satisfied with 3rd. Here they go, racing into turn 4 for the first time. Cold tires. Can they get these cars slowed down? Looks like they will, and Williamson's the first one through.
Not quite. Here comes Sajo back on the inside. If he can force Williamson wide, he might be able to get the spot here. they're still side by side, neither one yielding.
Racing to the far side of the course, Jason Perry in third, watching from behind. There's the aid of Lindoff and Haycox. All around, Jeff Jacobson has spun. That was over. Ooh, he's got big damage on that number 40.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to start this race off. He's already got massive damage to that car. Definitely got to come down for some repairs.
And looks like we got a couple other drivers slip around. It was Steven Elson. Back up at the front, though, we're going to focus on the lead. It's Williamson in control of this thing as they make their way through the final corner for the first time. Elson has headed back to the pit lane and to try to come back out. Meanwhile, for third place, Lindoff with a dive up the inside of Jason Perry. And for the lead, Sadro, an opportunistic move to the inside. He'll have a look down into the keyhole. Here he comes.
Yeah, he's going to be very present alongside Williamson. Williamson going all the way
Whoa,
to the
Perry,
grass
wow.
on the outside.
What a dive for Jason Perry to try to grab fourth spot back away from you, Haycox. He got it. It's a little aggressive, but he got it done.
And Williamson and Sadro still side by side. I think Williamson's got the better run of the two. They head off to the back straightaway, and here comes Lindoff in the background in the 8 car.
Into the braking zone. The 51 is in control, and he's going to have the preferred line. But now if the 69 can stay alongside, he'll have the preferred line for turn 5. And he will. He'll hang on.
You see Williamson trying to defend 2 lanes, but not quite, as the 51's going to check it out the inside. Not going to be alongside enough. Here comes the 8 of Lindoff now for second place.
Jason Perry's watching this all from 5th place and just waiting for the opportunity to sneak up here and get the lead and try to drive away, but it's so hard to do with all the draft of these cars fitting. They got that one long back straightaway, and that's enough to keep everyone close. Larry McLeod has not really had the best of days so far. We're expecting to see him right up inside the top 5, currently running in 10th at the moment.
Been close, but no cigars, so we'll see if he can try to move up a little bit more before this race is over. Still a long ways to go.
Cross start finish line, Williamson will lead lap number 2. About 26 minutes remaining, so a long way to go. Nicely line astern across the line. Background, car popping out of line, that's the 190 car. Deeper in the field, Steve Ray in the 15. He's looped it in the final corner. What a promising start tonight. Meanwhile, up the road, crash in turn 1. Kosenek spun around the 190. We got 2 incidents to look. Wow!
Whoa.
Here's a look. This was the 3 wide we were watching on the front straightaway.
Not end well.
It's the 190 and the 082, and the 82 is going to go up and over. What a wild accident that was. Turned him up and over the top. Let's see where he was in the timing and scoring. That would be the case. Another look. Tumbled off into the distance.
Several times over and landed on his side upside down.
And that car is done. That was Lero in the 082. Meanwhile, for the lead, Williamson and Lindoff nose to tail.
Yeah, Lindoff was a little bit quiet in his heat race. He was just, right in the background of the battle between the 51 and the 97 of Perry. And now here he is fighting up for the lead here early on.
For the top spot, Williamson has Lindoff all over him into the final corner. Big lockup. Williamson's been struggling with locking that right front tire. But it hasn't slowed him down at all, so he'll continue leading this race. Meanwhile, for 17th, Kurt Nunez, Fred Desay. A whole bunch of cars fighting for about 15, 16, 17.
I am a little bit worried about Williamson, though, because, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal on a 6-lap heat, but in our 19-lap feature, or it should be almost a 19-lap feature, it's going to definitely, if he keeps locking up like that, it's definitely going to hurt his performance, so he's got to be a little bit more careful with it this time around.
Jason Perry still hanging on to 4th place. Side-by-side battle, the 213 of Godden, who just avoided that big crash in turn 1 a couple laps ago, as Bob Curtin to the inside as they make their way through the keyhole, and Ramon Regalado and a couple other drivers, James King, in this fight as well.
And Michael Shaw is going to get past Godden there for the 18th spot. Not going to be quite clear, though.
For the lead, here comes Lindoff to the outside into turn 4.
So he's going to back off that battle. You can see the top 5 starting to break away from the rest of the pack.
Lindhoff is leaning on the back of Williamson. I'm not sure how long it'll stay like this, but you never really know how much better the driver behind is until they actually get out in front, because the draft kind of masks a couple things, especially at a track with such a long straight. Oh, there's a big mess.
Whoa.
Clark Williams into 16 and Antonio Rice into 007 and a few others were tangled in this. Linda started with the 16. And this is just up in front of us. Williams got turned by the 277, rather. They all tangled bottom of the hill.
Luckily, it doesn't look like many more cars were involved in that incident.
16 laps to go, and Williamson continues to lead this race. Zachary LeVay finished 5th in his heat event, and currently hangs on to 10th, which is exactly where he started, so no progress so far from the 13.
So he's just kind of sitting back. I'm sure, though, he's going to want to at least try to catch back up to the leader to make some ground. He's actually almost about to be passed from the car behind him. That's Bureau.
Larry McLeod right in front of them with the number 33 and SCCA announcer that joined us here on SYM TV to help promote some of the grid life stuff earlier in the month. Meanwhile, battle for the lead again, and Henrik Lindhoff continues to try this outside lane. Is this the best way around here? I mean, if you can stay alongside, you have the spot.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to set himself up for turn 5. Here they go through turn 4. And still the 8 very much alongside now in the inside in turn 5.
Oh, he might have this understeer big time through the hill for the 69, and he's still going to have a nose in, not quite. And Jason Perry through to 3rd on Sadro.
And Lindhoff with a little bit of a drift through turn 6 is going to clear the spot and hold the lead now. Here comes Perry. Perry drifted back a little bit in the last few laps, and now it's back up into 3rd.
I wonder if the tires are coming into their own for the number 97. He's been kind of hanging back, not really super aggressive in the opening laps other than the big dives we saw in the heat racing earlier this afternoon. And look at the big understeer by the 8. Almost off course as Williamson chases him down. Meanwhile, behind for 10th, there's Drusek in the 84, Adam Bradshaw. And right behind, Nunez and Desai.
So very close battle for the lead amongst 5 different drivers.
Sadro taking a look to driver's left on Jason Perry.
Hugh Haycox also in the background right in behind the 51.
JP2 taking a big dive into turn 2 and unable to quite get to Williamson, but he is so good in the brake zones, and that's where Williamson's been a bit poor. I mean, I know he made his pass with a big braking dive, but it's been where he's been locking up the tires as well. So I think the 97 has an advantage over the 69 in the brake zones. He's just got to get aggressive enough to take it away.
Some defensive driving also there. You see the 69 Williamson going to the outside of the 8. Same thing what Lindhoff did last time through.
15 laps to go. 8:69 battling for the lead. Lindhoff had to lift.
Yep, it's going to go back to Williamson now for the lead.
Williamson, Lindhoff, Perry, Sadro, Haycox, Dick, McLeod, LeVay, and Jurasek. Your top 10 at the moment. Bradshaw, Bureau, Desai, Nunez, and Shaw round out your top 15.
I think almost every single driver in the top 10 finished in the top 5 in their heat race. You see for a few drivers here and there.
The Haycox drivers, the 11 is Hugh, the 35 is Ian, and they both had a really good afternoon so far, 5th and 6th, and the opportunity to work together here. There's Adam Bradshaw in 11th at the moment. He started in 13th plus 2 with Bureau right behind him.
Kind of the lead group of drivers coming to the picture, and then the second group.
Regalado got tangled up in his heat events, and James King, Jim McGill also did, but they're running 18th, 19th, and 20th right now. And Donald Fitterer in the number 111 had some trouble in his race in the early going, and continues to run in 22nd right now after starting in 34th, so a really good climb for Fitterer.
I'm sure he would hope to gain quite a few more spots, and he's still spending time with just under 20 minutes left in this race.
Meanwhile, at the front, continuing to run side by side. These guys unwilling to give it up. Williamson pulls hard to driver's left, and this is a different opportunity now for Lindhoff. He's trying driver's right this time.
Yeah, Williamson got a great run to the corner there, was now stuck on the inside. Let's see the 8 of Lindhoff pitches. He's going to give him room here. Now back to the inside. So the next corner is going to still be Williamson.
That's just so hard to complete a pass through this section with all the switchbacks that we've been seeing. Jurasek and LeVay, tight quarters. LeVay in the black 13, Jurasek in the black 84.
Here's some good aggressive to get the spot back. McLeod is going to be the second driver.
Oh, Fitterer, we were just talking about his great climb, and it's all going to go away on lap number 7, and woo! Cantor locks up to try to miss him. We'll see what happened to the 111.
Did he have some help here?
277, dive up the inside. A racing incident for me, Vinny, but moved the 111 around. He's still got busy hands at the moment. He's got Cantor, Kosanek, and Makarivi behind. And Makarivi started this race in 3rd. He fell to 27th. He's trying to claw his way back forward, but this is certainly not how he wanted his afternoon to go.
No, it definitely didn't look like it was how it was going to go. Obviously starting in 7th, top 5, really solid starting spot. Unfortunately, the race hasn't gone the same way, and back in 26, so it's been a tough night for him, or tough race for him.
And way up the road, LeVay has gotten passed by Bureau, so that put the 208 in the top 10. And the leaders again, and Williamson is just toying with the 8 car right now, forcing Lindhoff to try different things. As the race goes on, I think Lindhoff is just kind of practicing which one's more efficient.
And another lockup from Williamson is going to give him the lead, though.
And he skated sideways for a moment. Meanwhile, behind, big group of cars, about 10th spot, all making their way down towards Kitty Litter in China Beach. No one's been stuck there yet. That's good to hear. McGill and James King for 18th.
Quite get to him here in this section.
Well, Williamson has been dominant so far. He's led 6 of our 8 laps, but I'm not sure that it's going to be the driver that leads the most laps that's going to win tonight. It's going to be the driver that leads on the final lap, and that may not be the one we're seeing now.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Williamson. He didn't even lead coming to the white flag and was able to take the win away. I mean, we saw he was just able to do it by outbraking, so we'll see. I think one of these other drivers has got a shot or is bold enough to outbrake the other driver to take the lead away.
Through turn 1, a bit off apex for the 69. That's going to leave him vulnerable here. Here comes Lindhoff to driver's left, and a really strong run onto the straightaway as well. But he's going to be on the wrong end as we make our way into the keyhole.
So he's going to try to outbrake Williamson here down into the keyhole. Going to be in the outside offline. You can see him trying to set up a run down the back straightaway.
Great battling for the lead. Swings the driver's right. He's going to get there. And Williamson's going to hold him tight to the white line. Door to door. Spec Racer Ford Racing from Mid-Ohio.
Lindhoff trying to take a better line on that curvature on the front, on the back straightaway rather. Here they go into the braking zone. Will Williamson try to outbrake him? Ooh,
Big
sideways.
slide. See the hands working back and forth, trying to hang on to that thing. Now through 5 down the hill. And I think Lindhoff's going to have this.
Lindhoff sliding sideways out of turn 5, still side by side.
And he clears them. Not quite contact. 69 off in the dirt and pulls back on course. JP2 goes to second.
They're able to slip on by, and even Sandro's trying to find his way on by, but he's got this little back and forth. Now Lindhoff's got a little bit of a gap to second.
Great battling though, but Williamson got a little bit run off course there by the 8 car, and Lindhoff needed to clear him there to make that work. Otherwise, the 69 would have had the drivers or the racing line for the next corner, so he had to use up the 69 a little bit. But I think Williamson will remember that, and there has been a deposit made, and I think later we'll see a withdrawal from the 69 car of Williamson.
We'll see. He's been an aggressive passer in the 69 Williamson, so we'll see what he can do in the later part of this race, especially against the 8.
Larry McLeod in the number 33. He started tonight in 9th, hasn't really gone very far, up to 8th place with Jurasek, Bureau, LeVay right behind.
He's kind of been stuck here. He's 3 seconds behind the next car ahead.
And some damage to the rear bumper of that car as well. He's been leaned on a few times tonight. Whoa, big lockup.
No, he's going to go offline, maybe off course, but just a lot of moves. 1, 2, maybe 3 spots in the process.
Not the right direction to be going for McLeod. He'll drop from 8th to 10th just like that. Up front, does JP2 have the pace to keep up with Lindhoff here?
I think definitely, I don't see why he can't. Learn really well in Heat 2, so you can see him take the lead here and actually finished ahead of Lindhoff in Heat 2.
Trouble, and the 007 and the 94. And
yeah, massive damage to the 7 and even the 94.
Yeah, both these drivers have had trouble tonight. Here's a look at what happened. And it looks like the 94 might be trying to just stick the nose. Yeah, that really wasn't a passing opportunity there.
Oh,
and they also tagged, trying to see who that was. Is it Wayne Palmer? Ooh, Wayne Palmer, the 277. Someone got turned up and over. Trying to see what car that was involved, the gray car. 76, being driven today by the Fred Desay. So he's going to get hit big time. Watch this. Oh, driver's side. Well, actually, both sides are driver's side. It's a central cockpit car.
But yeah, it's a T-bone upside down, so not going to be the way the 76 wants to end his race.
Halfway through, actually past halfway through here. 13 minutes and 25 seconds left. Lindop, Perry, Williamson, Sadro, Haycock's your top 5. Then Samuel Dick, Hugh Haycock's, Bureau, Jurasek, and McLeod, the rest of your top 10.
Yeah, looks like Ian Haycock, he had some trouble with a lap car, and that's kind of allowed the top 4 to break away now from the rest of the field.
And from Sadro on forward, they're looking in the mirror and enjoying watching this because that means that they can kind of fight amongst themselves a little bit and not worry. We see Samuel Dick and Hugh Haycock's line astern bump drafting down the back straight, maybe to try to get some of this time back.
Yeah, that's really all they can do at this point now, but here, as you think the leader's going to enjoy now, it's just down to 4 cars instead of 7.
And some patience there by Haycock as he lines in behind. Oh, trouble at the front, and looks like Lindop has lost a couple spots as Perry and Williamson go by.
Lindop might even drop back to 3rd, potentially 4th if he can't get back in line. He's now side by side with Sajo is going to get clear of him. But
so what happened here? He was getting past in the braking zone and big slide and hung onto it, but off in the grass for a moment. That's what lost him the lead.
Could have been a lot worse, so great save, but I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself there. Lost 2 spots, trying to get one of them back now as he's side by side with Williamson. They're going to get him.
Jason Perry leads the way. 10 laps to go, going to be 9 this time by. About 12 minutes of racing remaining. Perry, Lindop, Williamson, Sadro, Haycock's your new top 5. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is a challenging technical track, Finney. We've seen almost all of our incidents on the far side of the course today. Only a few in turn 1 in the keyhole. And look at this, 69 Williamson off in the dirt. Can he hang on to it, slipping and sliding? And he'll pull back on track, but damage has been done in all the time that he's lost.
Yeah, quite a bit of it as well. And you see 35.
Oh, contact! Williamson locks up to try to stop from going off course, and more damage to the back of Williamson's car.
Oh, man. That's going to definitely hurt him a bit.
And Haycock's as well.
Yeah, it costs him more time.
Not sure these two are going to be thrilled with each other.
And that's why I kind of want to take a look back and just to see kind of who got into who there.
We'll take a look. From my understanding, I think Williamson was just pulling the car back on course after his slide. And 35 has a big head of steam, and he sees an opportunity and just chucks it up the inside here. Just kind of rammed the 69. I don't think that he was expecting Williamson to claim possession of that line, but he did, and they got together. Meanwhile, Bob Kern in the 6 has had a slowdown here.
Coming back in 18th place for the 6 car.
For the lead, Lindop is back. JP2 leads this race. Lindop has led more, and he wants it back. 8 laps to go this time through. A lot of work left for Lindop. Because once you pass Perry, it's not over. The draft is going to keep him tight. I don't think we've seen anybody really be able to break away today.
Yeah, we really haven't, although we've seen quite a few of the leaders drop out. We're effectively down to 3 cars in this lead group. There you can see Williamson leading the rest of the competition.
Lindop's last lap was his best. A 1:37.019, a full half-second quicker than what Perry ran last time through.
A little bit better than the 97 ahead of him. He's going to have a run here down on the back straightaway.
The question is, do you take this run, or are you going to try to push and try to keep Sadro out of this? I'm not sure that you can lose Sadro at this point.
Sadro's too close, but they can definitely try to ensure that 4th on back can't catch back up to them, and I think we might see them race a little bit calm here.
Yeah, they've worked together so far. I imagine that would probably continue. Jurasek, Larry McLeod, LeVay all fighting for 9th place. Adam Bradshaw, the St. Patrick's Day looking number 5 and 12. Deeper in the field, Franco in the 173. Got a taking a look at Doherty taking a look at the 173 down the back straight.
So that damage car is amazing. He's still running decently well in 21st.
The top three are all on top of each other. Perry, Lindoff, and Sadro, and I'm convinced that these guys are probably just going to work together, but I don't want to take my eyes off them in case they don't decide to do that.
I can see them working together for the next, 3 to 5 laps and then start to kind of race for it at the end. Build up that gap. It's 2.6 seconds back to Williamson.
Down into turn one, and there's just so much cooperation going on right now between these three. I'd have to imagine that they're just going to try to stretch that gap on Williamson because we know how strong Fraser Williamson is. I just don't know if he's going to have the pace. His last lap was a 37.9, and that damage certainly seems to be hurting him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough gap to build back up, especially considering he's running more or less at pace with the rest of the leaders. He's not necessarily gaining much.
Best battle on the racetrack right now still seems to be about 9th place. I think you can make that even 8th with Bureau, Jurisek, McLeod, LeVay, and Bradshaw all fighting for a top 10 position.
I thought you can see a little bit of a gap back towards Jurisek here, who's trying to make a pass on Bureau. Going to look up the inside.
Looks like he'll be able to complete that pass. Move the 84 to P8. He started in 11th tonight. Bureau 12th to 9th. LeVay has dropped a spot. Bradshaw up 1 from his 13th place starting spot. Not a lot of up and down ability today. It seems like mostly where people have started is where they're running.
And not too terribly surprised by that, especially with our leaders.
With 6 laps to go, we'd like to thank again SYM Stickers for coming on board and sponsoring the vRunoffs Weekend Warriors, the 24th event. They run these quarterly, my understanding. And I want to thank SYM Stickers for jumping on board and sponsoring this event. Make sure to use code RUNOFF25 for 25% off all SYM Stickers products for the next week, and you can visit their link in the description. Thank you so much again. As Lindoff dives to the inside of Jason Perry, he'll take the lead back in turn 1.
Trying to have a look here, go to the outside. I think they're done cooperating now. The race is on.
6 laps to go. Track temp has risen up to 95 degrees. So the drip is falling away slightly, and door to door, these Spec Racer Fords, and Sadro licking his lips. Sees these guys fighting in front of him. He's going to have a heck of a run here if he chooses to do anything with it.
Yeah, because if he's going to try to make this rear wide, it's going to be tough to do here, especially with this many laps remaining. He might kind of just sit on this now.
Really know where to go unless he wants to take it 3 wide. There's a bit of a smoke cloud up the road. I think we just had a car off. There's only 5 cars listed out of the race. Fred Desai, Clark Williams, Alejandro Liro, Jonathan Madden, and David Sanchez. Those are the only drivers out of this race. A lot more with significant damage done.
Yeah, actually, these guys going side by side, they lost a lot of time. They lost almost half a second back to Williamson and company. So you got to be careful with this. He's still in the hunt.
I'm keeping an eye on Williamson because I thought that this damage was going to be too much for him to make up the time, but not if these front guys are fighting. And he does have a couple drivers behind him that are also quick and can help him make up this ground.
So, yeah, it appears that they maybe see that they lost so much time last time by and still just a little bit longer. You never know with drivers.
Ooh, big understeer for the 8. A bad line. Samuel Dick jumping out throughout the order. I thought that there was an issue with one of our drivers, but looks like it's all back to normal. Must have been an internet issue. Oh no, the 69 of Williamson. There was a problem. I don't know if it's internet or if he had an accident. Oh, he did. Final corner, he was chasing the leaders and got in the dirt in the braking zone and slid off track, and Williamson's night is over. That's heartbreaking for Fraser Williamson.
Yeah, pushed I think just a little bit too hard trying to catch the top 3 back. Gonna, as you're saying, gonna end his night. It's not gonna be Ian Haycox now leading that second group of drivers.
I knew something was wrong. I saw something weird in the ticker, and I thought it was involving Samuel Dick, but it was just the 69 that went for a ride off into the gravel trap. So Lindoff, Perry, and Sadro, your top 3. Haycox in behind, and last time Haycox was 0.8 of a second quicker, so he is coming from 4th. And there he is in that bright green car.
So they're still not quite on pace. I think when these guys say single file, they need them to battle. I think these guys are kind of realizing they need to stay single file just a little bit longer. But Lindoff went really sideways down into turn 4 and is still looking really sideways.
Yeah, he's been struggling with understeer. Looks like his car off track. and Mavic has stopped. I'm not sure if he had any damage or anything. I think he might have just pulled off the course to get out of the way of the leaders. But Lindoff has been struggling with understeer in key parts of the course. I think that's what's part of what's contributing to them losing so much time to 4th place. Bureau, Jurasek, and it's not really that big of a gap between Bureau and 6th, though. If we can get 4th, 5th, and 6th up to the lead group, we can probably get 7th and 8th in there at the very least as well. So we still have 4 laps left. That's about 5-6 minutes worth of racing, so it's going to get pretty dicey here at the end if these leaders are caught. And there is some lap traffic they have to deal with as well. The 56 car tonight being driven by Nathan Crosty. And right ahead, the 239 to Frank Radosti. They will be a lap down here once the leaders catch him. Ed Doherty has headed to pit lane in the 94.
Not sure why, if he's crashed out or if he came in there by himself. Gonna lose a ton of spots regardless. Catching some lap traffic now for the leaders.
See if Jason Perry can use the lap car as a pick.
Oh.
And it spooked Lindoff a little bit. And the front 3 continue to fight. Meanwhile, 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 5th rather, fighting for position. That's the Haycox guys. And they have to keep their eye on the prize here, Finney. And they gotta focus and move their way forward. They have a chance, but they need to work together.
That was Ian in the blue machine, or it's like he was the blue machine, Ian in the green one. He's now working on some lap traffic now, finally able to get on by.
Yeah, good run for Jason Perry, but nowhere to go with it. This is such a challenging part of the course to make it past that. You're really just setting yourself up for a pass into or out of the keyhole. There's really not a whole lot to do on this side of the course because of the decreasing radius corner and a curved braking zone, which makes this one of the hardest corners in all of auto racing to stop a car that doesn't have anti-lock brakes. 3 laps to go at the front of the field. Lindoff in command. He has led tonight. 5 laps worth of racing. Make it 6 as he crosses the line. I think Haycox, actually both Haycox guys, are in trouble. A 4-second gap, really, in 3 laps to do it. They need to be making up time a lot more than they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they just really need to hope for the leaders to wreck out at this point. Both of them go side by side. That's you on the outside, Ian on the inside into the keyhole.
I think they've given up at this point. They wouldn't be racing each other otherwise. So much of Spec Racer Ford is working together to keep the lead pack in your sight, and I think they've given up on that prospect. They've lost an entire second in the first sector of the course. For the lead, here comes JP2 up the inside on Lindoff. Into the braking zone for turn 4, and again, side-by-side racing through one of the tightest and most technical portions of Mid-Ohio.
Oh, and a little bit sideways for Lindoff. Perry's going to have a great run to the inside now.
And Perry's going to have this. He's going to clear Lindoff and change for the lead. Jason Perry has it now. And Sadro has been too quiet, Finney, and I think he's got something up his sleeve.
I was going to say he's been really quiet. He has not thrown himself in the ring at all. He's just been quietly idling his time in 3rd. Yeah, I think now is his time to pounce here.
He was so fast in his heat event, I just don't believe that he's only 3rd quick tonight. Dive on the brakes for Lindoff to try to sneak up the inside of Jason Perry in the final corner, unable to do it. 2 laps to go this time by. There's only 36 seconds remaining in this race. So this will be, it should be.
I think it's it is final lap.
Final lap, white flag this time by. So that significantly changed this race, at least for us, because everyone else knew what was going on. But final lap, white flag waves for Jason Perry. And in this race, he has led 5 laps, but Lindoff has led a few more. He'd like to keep it that way.
See here, this is going to be the final shot for these guys. Sidro dropped back quite a bit after turn 1. He's definitely not going to have a shot at making the pass with the lead, at least on the back straightaway.
I thought he'd leave a little gap to maybe take a run, but you need to be within 0.3 of a second to make a run at him. Here comes Lindoff, though, and if these two run side by side, Sandro is not out of this thing. Side by side down the back straightaway, last lap of the Weekend Warriors, 24th running of the vRunoffs into the braking zone for turn 4. Lindoff is a little bit wide. Can he hang on and keep a nose in there? No, Perry blocks and defends.
He drifted out way too far wide. He's going to try to give a little bit of a bump to Perry to knock him offline, but can't get it done.
And Sandro is back. 3-car fight for the lead.
He'll give a bit of a bump here to Perry.
Here he comes. A push, a shove, maybe.
Contact!
Perry gets turned. Lindoff slides.
Sadro up the inside is going to take the lead.
Sadro to the top spot. and he played that perfectly. Stay out of the drama and sneak away a win at the end. Perry is now under attack from 4th place. Sandy looks a little bit far back, so it'll still be the same podium, but Sadro from 3rd to 1st on the final lap when the leaders had trouble together. Daniel Sadro will win the 24th running of the Weekend Warriors vRunoffs. Daniel Sadro wins. Trouble in the final corner. Dick has spun around.
A lot of contact at the end of this race. Is going to end up with a 51 on top. And actually, Perry was able to get 2nd place.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of drama in the final corner. Maybe Lindoff maybe let up. But Hugh Haycox has, he had a dramatic last corner as well. But Daniel Sadro, it's correcting to show Jason Perry as the winner, which I don't think is necessarily. I wonder if Sadro had a.
It's going back and forth. It's just swapping between these top 3.
I'm not going to trust the timing and scoring right now because it's my knowledge. There were still. I'm not really sure what's going on. We're not gonna confirm or deny. I'm fairly certain that the 51 got that, but let's not confirm anything until we see it. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. I think in the heat event the time is still running, so the positions are still changing. But that'll we'll get it all sorted out for you here shortly. It's making it quite a pain to find the leader's drama here. So Jason Perry was leading. And it was the 8 that's trying to sneak up the inside. They get together, and the 51 sneaks through. And then they get down to the final corner, and it's the 219, I believe it was. Or the 119. Samuel Dick, thank you. And was there a drama? As he came up to the final corner, he maybe tried to take a dive up the inside of that lap car. That's where it was. And that's how they all got together, and the 11 also involved in that. So I think our unofficial results should be working. We'll take a look here and see, hoping that is the case. So anyway, we want to thank SYM Stickers again for coming on board and sponsoring this event. I think we've sorted this out mostly.
I think so too. I think our timing and scoring
is doing all sorts of crazy things.
Berserk right now. So are people on the track.
Oh man, that would explain the timing and scoring going all over the place. All right, unofficial results though. It'll have the 51. Oh man, they are having a blast down there, aren't they?
They're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon. Why not have some fun, right?
So this now should be the final page.
And thankfully, our results page is staying quite constant. So here's a look at your unofficial race results for the 24th running of the Weekend Warriors vRunoffs. Daniel Sadro got it done. JP2 takes home 2nd. Lindoff 3rd. Haycox 4th. Jurasek in 5th in the 84. Bureau, McLeod, Shaw, Bradshaw, and Nunez your top 10. Samuel Dick, LeVay, Godden, King, McGill, Kern, Macarivi, Fitterer, Ray, and Regalado your top 20. Steve Ray, after all the drama that he had in his heat race, Finian, a 19th place, he's got to be pretty okay with that.
Yeah, although I imagine he's definitely going to be disappointed what could have been, considering the pace that he had in the heat race. I think definitely could have been one of those guys fighting for the win. I'm sure he's going to be just a little bit disappointed in that. I'm really curious who's winning the demo derby down there on the racetrack right now. These are strong little buggers, these race cars. Anyway, 19 laps completed, 7 lead changes. And again, the support from SYM Stickers allowing us to be here this afternoon. Thank you again. We're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk to your race winner and the rest of your podium here in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes.
Would you like to have a career in racing, and if so, what would you like to do, Dale?
Well, I want to be a race car driver someday. That's, it's all I've ever known, racing.
What did you want to be when you grew up? So many people live a life of what if. Go to school. Go to college. Get a 9-to-5. This is how we support our dreams. With a safety net. Because we're unsure about taking a leap of faith. Because we're afraid. As we grow, we cross things off our list of dreams. We cut them down, make them realistic. having control of things is reassuring. But for some, the rush of being out of control is what gives them life. Some say racing cars is reckless. Maybe they're right. Out of bounds isn't just cheating, it's cheating death. Football fields made up in seconds. Decisions made in instants. For the people that climb behind the wheel of these cars, they're not driving it. They become part of it. It's an extension of the body. As a child, I looked up to these people, faces hidden by helmets. The less you saw of the driver, the more believable it became that they were, in fact, just part of the machine. It's easy to forget that inside the cockpit is someone just like us, but with the mindset that fear is a motivation, not a barrier. But the reality is, race car drivers are not like us. They never cross anything off their list of dreams. They just keep writing more. Daytona.
This is the finish of the Daytona 500. Side by side.
Le Mans. Indianapolis. Monaco. Places that used to be just places, now international symbols of victory. To those that enjoy the spectacle of racing, the 2 feet of concrete and steel cables are a wall between us and them, between sitting in the grandstands and standing in victory lane. These same walls are a stark, immovable reminder that racing drivers put their lives on the line for the sake of the thrill and entertainment. Despite the risk, despite the heartbreak, despite the cost. There are some on the sidelines who are fascinated by the danger. They are fascinated by speed, fascinated by the undying desire to be just a little bit better. Their dreams erased by geography, finances, or the lack of a famous last name. There are some who once wished to be a race car driver, but aren't, because they didn't get the chance. And they thought they'd spend the rest of their lives watching their heroes on television, or from the other side of the fence. They thought it was impossible to climb into a race car, so they crossed it off their list. But it's not impossible. There is a ticket to the other side of the fence. For those who want it bad enough, this is your chance.
Welcome back live to SYM TV in the 24th running of the Weekend Warriors vRunoffs. We're here now with Henrik Lindhoff in the number 8 car. And Henrik, kind of a wild afternoon today. Ended up kind of ultimately having an off there at the end with Jason Perry. Just walk us through the battle up at the front, trying to break away and ultimately ending up having contact and letting the 51 slip through your fingers.
Yeah, well, I think it was overall a good race for me. I had a plan to try to stay at the front for as long as possible, and into the end of the race, it's easy. It gets separated into different groups and such, but yeah, and then it's hard to, if you get into the front, it's hard to get away. And basically, it's a slipstream race all the way through, and yeah, shame about the ending there. I had a small touch with Perry, and I guess I had to go for it. So a shame, and yeah, it's just close racing everything. It's good fun though. It definitely is.
The track was heating up towards the end of the session. Did you notice any changing in the track over the course of the short race, or was it pretty much just focusing on the drivers around you by that point?
Yeah, mostly just focusing on drivers around, but you did notice the grip go off a bit and the car starting to understeer a bit. But I think that helped my car a bit better because in the beginning it was almost a bit too twitchy and a bit too oversteered. So yeah, I think it was good for me though.
All right, Henrik Lindhoff going to be a podium tonight for the number 8. Henrik, thank you so much for joining us here. Congratulations on a solid run. Unfortunate about the finish, but still a great, it looked like a lot of fun out there, so a great run for you, and thank you for talking.
Thank you. Bye.
Absolutely. Moving on now to our race winner, Daniel Sadro in the number 51. Tonight was a good race for you. You said earlier that you didn't feel like you deserved it, but you put yourself in the perfect position to steal away a victory on that final lap. How much of that laying back was premeditated, and how much was it those front two starting to drive away?
Yeah. So I was kind of at the very beginning of the race. I was, almost trading paint with Fraser, but I kind of let them go back, and I saw Henrik was a little frisky, and I had wanted to stay back in a little bit at least. But what happened was that on the penultimate lap, we had some lapped traffic that I had some very real problems passing, and so I was about a second behind, and at the beginning of the last lap, and thankfully there was a slipstream, and then of course the incident in front was really what allowed me to take the victory today.
I was asking Henrik about that last lap when you got to that far side of the course. I mean, are you thinking that you still had an opportunity there, or were you okay and content with third place? And how surprised were you when they got together?
Well, I would have been okay and content with third place, but when I saw the two get together, I saw an opening, and I just put my car through it, and I had I would have been content with third, but certainly the W does feel good.
It seemed like a lot of drivers, especially towards the midfield, had trouble advancing, and not a lot of people went backwards either. So how important is qualifying, and are those heat races into guaranteeing yourself a good starting spot? Because it seemed like mobility upwards or downwards was a little bit tricky today.
Yeah. Well, Mid-Ohio is a tricky track. It can be difficult to pass a little bit, with exception to that long straightaway. It was when you have a race that's 30 minutes long, that's not a lot of time, and then usually when we run longer races in the past, we've done pit stops, and pit stops can really jumble things up, can really bring some strategy and allow people to really advance or go backward. But this one, it was more important to have a good qualifying and a good heat race for sure.
Daniel, congratulations on the race win. It's a pleasure talking to you after that incredible race, watching you guys duke it out and battle and dice it up. So congratulations, enjoy it, and hopefully we'll see you around.
Well, thanks. I cannot wait to watch the whole thing on YouTube.
All right, Daniel, have a good afternoon.
Yeah, you too.
We're going to bring in now Steve Ray, who basically organized this entire event. Steve, tonight, or this afternoon, didn't quite go the way you wanted. It started with the spill in your heat race, but all in all, you got to be pretty happy with how this event ran as a whole.
Yeah, it was something new to try for this season with the heat races and everything. We had a couple of growing pains with it, but hopefully everybody enjoyed it, and we'll see if we do it again next season or not. But I think it provided for a lot of fun.
SYM Stickers came on board to sponsor this event. They've got a promotional code that everybody can use, Runoff25 for 25% off all products this week. How important is the SYM Sticker sponsorship to this series, and how big have they been in supporting the Weekend Warriors vRunoff series?
Oh, they're huge. Paul Godden, one of our own, is the one that created SYM Stickers, and he's been sponsoring the league now for 2-3 seasons. So he ensures that we get broadcast and the support we need, and he does a great job, supports the community supports him, so that's a really good thing.
And looking forward, when you look at this event in retrospect, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in particular, I mean, the racing of these cars is pretty spectacular. So is there anything else you can tell us about the future, or where we're going next season, or anything like that, or is it all kind of decided later down the line?
Now for the vRunoffs, I kind of wait till towards the end of the regular season and figure out where we want to go. I try to spice it up and go different places some. And we've got some old standards like Road America and Road Atlanta that we go to every once in a while, and hadn't been to Mid Ohio, and the lap times were about right for this type of event. So we thought we'd throw that one up there this season. But yeah, next season's an unknown right now for the vRunoffs.
All right, Steve. Hey, thank you so much for putting on this event. It was a pleasure to watch. It's something different, a Sunday afternoon matinee here on SYM TV, something I don't think we've actually done before. So a lot of fun, Steve. Thank you so much for putting this on, and hopefully we'll see you around.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Thanks for what you do, and it was great to have you on board for this one. I'm anxious to watch the broadcast and replay.
All right, Steve. Have a good afternoon. Appreciate it. All right, Finney, that's going to do it for this afternoon's Weekend Warriors vRunoffs, the 24th running. And, of course, we've had SIM stickers come on board and sponsor. Of course, you can visit that link and make sure you do it because they'll stick around if you guys click that link and check that out. So, your thoughts, the Spec Racer Ford, the first time we've ever watched it here on SYM TV. I thought that car was spectacular.
Yeah, some really, really great racing, especially in the heats, and even in the feature, two guys just swapping back and forth to the lead. And some great passing, especially down in turn 4, everyone's favorite spot.
That's going to do it for us for this afternoon. We will be back live tonight at Iowa Speedway for the next round. I think it's the 7th round of the 2020 Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series. That will be on at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow night, we've got the SCCA Racing League. They'll be heading to their next event at Phoenix Raceway. We'll be live with them tomorrow at 9:30. Tuesday, Fuel Action at 9 o'clock. They'll be heading to Southern National. Wednesday, Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League. Skip Barbers from New Jersey Motorsports Park. And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Again, my name's Kyle Heyer, and I'm here with Finney and Dakuna. You can visit us at simtvbroadcasting.com to learn more or check out the links in the video description. Thank you again. We'll see you next time.